Hey y'all, and welcome back. Today I am super excited to be diving into this video because I get to play with a palette that I have been drooling over ever since I ordered it. This is the Serenity Palette from the brand, oh my gosh, what is the brand? I'm gonna blank on it, of course. Cosmic Brushes. I saw the CB, but I couldn't remember. This is from Cosmic Brushes, and I was so excited about this. This gave me such strong, like, Club Nebula vibes, but a different take on it, and just more colors, and the shimmers look absolutely beautiful. I was sold the moment I saw it, and it was a bit of a dicey launch. They're a smaller brand. I think this is only the second palette. I'm new to the brand, so I could be remembering this wrong, but from what I remember, they're rather newer, and there was so much interest in this palette, it kind of crashed the website for an hour or two. I finally managed to place an order. The brand, I thought, did a good job trying to, you know, make up and do as best they could for everyone. They were having people email them if they wanted to place orders, and they were doing it that way since they couldn't do it on the website. So anyway, it was a bit of a mess. I remember I had my computer up just constantly loading, trying to order this while I was taking care of my kids, but it's finally here. I'm super excited to have been able to purchase one on the launch day. And yeah, I want to get into this and play, and I figured today, it's been a little while, I want to update you guys on where we're at with the whole moving process, buying land, all that sort of thing. I have a bit of an update. Life is a little crazy. What's new? I feel like I say that every time, but I'll give you guys the update as we try this palette out. So yeah, let me go ahead and zoom in closer and we can just get right into it. Okay, so per usual, before I dive in, I kind of like to map out some sort of plan of what I want to do here. There are so many different options I could go with. I haven't really been paying attention to other people's videos to see what they've been using, so I'm sorry if this is repetitive, but I'm just gonna do my usual and kind of go with what I'm feeling when it comes to this palette. And I definitely want to use this shade right here. Looks so pretty, but I'm thinking the inner corner would be fun to do a pop. Definitely want to use this on my inner corner. What do I want to use on my lid? I really like this shade down here, Wander. That looks so pretty, but as does Serenity, that like bluish color. Maybe I'll use a combination of those two on my lid. That could be really pretty. So if I'm doing more of like a seafoam green, hunter green on my lid, I'm kind of wanting to go, I feel like I just did like a green and purple look not too long ago, so I'm gonna steer away from that, and let's go with we're gonna put this on the inner corner. Don't know what I'm gonna do after that. Like I said, I definitely want to use that green, but I'm thinking I'll use the green on the outer corner. I'll use a dark green, maybe forest, for my outer corner, and then blend it out with Sorbet. So we're gonna start with Oasis, that corally shade, put it on the inner portion, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so I have such a hard time remembering like what the last thing is that I told you guys, but I think if I remember correctly, my last update, which I can leave up here if you want to watch that, that was shortly after moving to this new location where I'm currently filming and we're currently living. But we moved out of our old house that we've been living in for, gosh, 3 years since we moved to Florida, and we moved to this other house. It wasn't the house with like a lot of land or whatever, but it was basically we were getting out of the big house that we've been living in, moving to a much smaller house so that we could sell the big house and continue looking for a place with more land so that we could have animals, have a bigger garden, that sort of thing. So anyway, in my last update, I just shared that we moved out. We officially sold our big home that we've been living in for 3 years. A week or so ago, everything went through. Finalized, we're done with it, and that was a big sigh of relief just to have that piece of property kind of story with that one is done. So we no longer own that house. All right, like I said, I'm gonna go into forest right there. Just gonna leave that. I mean, it looks great. I didn't say much about it. Looks great. I definitely want something more with it, but I'm not sure what color I want to put with it, so I'm just gonna work on the outer corner until it comes to me. And do not take the brushes I'm using as like, you know, my advice for my preference when it comes to this look, because I'm out of all my brushes. Like, I have such slim pickings right now, so I'm not exactly using my preferred type of brushes for the different areas, so just something to throw out there. But yeah, we sold that and we're in the smaller house, and we have found the piece of property that we've been looking for that is just perfect. It's not super far out, so we're still kind of close-ish to town, which is nice just for like errands or, you know, what have you, whatever we need, which with this current life that I'm in, just constantly being on the go and whatnot, it's been nice to be near a restaurant or the grocery store so I can pick up food and whatnot, because I've definitely just been living day by day recently. But we found the piece of property, and it will be so perfect, but the one catch of the property is that it is a pretty significant fixer-upper of a home. Like, the property is great, great, everything that we want in a property, but the house needs a lot of work. I'm just gonna start taking, I wish I had a bit of a tinier brush, but I don't see any. So we're just gonna go with this. I'm gonna start taking that Sorbet shade. I'm gonna just start blending out the green. So that was the one big catch, but it actually works out because since we did move out into the smaller home, it's close to that house. We were fine living here while we renovate that house, because it's not just like, oh, you know, I don't really like how the layout is. No, it's like a very old home that's had very little done to it over the years. So it needs a lot of like major things to make it safe to live in for us before we live in it. So it's that type of house that it needs a lot of renovations, a lot of work. So that was the big kind of hang up, and it took us a long time to kind of go back and forth with the deciding whether we were going to buy it, because like we said, everything about the land was just perfect. The location was absolutely perfect, but I've never considered myself or my husband much of like the fixer-upper type of people, or like we're not people who, you know, like to buy a property and like do projects on it. We just, I don't know, we're not bent that way, I guess. It's not something, you know, fun or hobby-ish for us. So I never would have imagined that we would buy a fixer-upper. But here we are, we have bought a fixer-upper. All right, so that green Sorbet, I think it was, went on really nicely. It's a very drastically different color from this dark one. So I'm not surprised that it didn't fully blend in. I could probably use a secondary color to kind of transition them, but I'm just gonna go back over with that same brush that I used for the outer corner. Not much on it at all, and just kind of go back and forth like that. And I think that'll blend it just nice. And as I continue to, you know, blend and work with these, I think they will look very nice. And I know what I'm going to use on this inner portion here. I just need to see if I have a clean, small enough brush, which this looks like it'll do. This is a Wayne Goss 05. I want to take this shade right here. It's just a brown. I'm just going to take a touch of it, but I think it'll deepen up and help the coral to pop exactly how I'm envisioning it. So I'm just going to almost like take it and make a line to connect it with that dark brown out there, or the dark green out there. Just like this. I always like nice amount of depth in my inner crease area. I just feel like it helps the sharpness of the shimmers stand out a bit more. So like that. And then I'm gonna go back in with, where is that brush? I forget which brush I used. Gotta keep track. Okay, here's the brush. This brush that I used for that first shade, and I'm gonna go on top just to blend it out. Not the best brush again, this type of, you know, duo fiber, but it'll work. I really need to clean my brushes. I've been saying it for far too long, and it just does not get done right now. One of these days. But hopefully it's sooner rather than later, because like literally I have maybe 20 brushes left, but they're all brushes that I could probably declutter because I just don't care to use them, or they're just too big for what I prefer now. Like all of my tiny brushes are dirty. So anyway, like that, I think that'll look nice, and it'll kind of carry over into that other shade. I'm going to clean off this brush that I use the deepest shade on, the deepest green, and I'm going to tap into this shade right here, which is called Moss, and I'm going to use that to connect right here into here. That'll definitely be a good shade. So anyway, getting back to the update, that is pretty much where we've at. We've officially purchased it. It was kind of a as-is type of property, and we are starting to do the process of getting it looked at and getting people in there to fix it up. And I think the most common thing with the comment we've gotten, I forgot to deepen up this inner corner. Well, here you can see the difference between adding a little brown and not, but let me go ahead and do that. But as people have been coming in to look at it, like we keep hearing what a unique home it is. Like there's a lot of things about it. It was built in the 70s, and there's a lot of things about it that we just keep hearing like, I've never seen that in a house before, or man, that takes me back to like my grandma's house. It's been an adventure, and hopefully, you know, we can get it fixed up by the end of the year is kind of what we'd like to be able to move into the new house, and that way we can be done here. Living in two different places, you know, where you're constantly, because we're constantly over at the new piece of property because we're getting it renovated, and we actually already went ahead and got chickens, so we have chickens over there that we're taking care of. And then when the property also came with a cat, it was just like the neighborhood cat, so we feed the neighborhood cat. So we have to be over there every day, and then with all the renovations and stuff, we're constantly over there, but we also like sleep, eat, and, you know, live here the rest of the time. So having 2 different places to be all the time is definitely, I mean, we're only a couple weeks into it, but it is exhausting, and my kids are definitely, thank God, like I said, it's only 5 minutes away. It makes it definitely doable and bearable, but we have a lot of their stuff over there, which is nice because with this new smaller place that we moved into initially, like I said, it's much smaller, so we can't fit a lot of their things, and like a lot of their outdoor bikes that they used to, you know, ride around the old house. If you ever were on my Instagram and like saw me share, you know, about the kids, you know, riding, we had this huge area. It was a very big, we had a 3-car garage at the old place, and the driveway was kind of an oversized driveway, and it was just perfect for them to ride their bikes on and whatnot. But at this new small house, we just don't have that room. However, at the house with the land that we're fixing up, it does have a really nice circle driveway and a really long driveway to the road, so the kids can ride their bikes there. So it's been nice that we're able to go over there, and while we're doing stuff with the house, or, you know, sorting through our stuff, because we're moving into a much smaller house. We had like, it was over half the square footage of our old house is where we currently live, so we're constantly sorting through our extra stuff that we put at the fixer-upper house. Since we're not living there, it's like all this extra stuff that we don't have room for in this house, we'll put it over there and sort through and decide what we're going to do with it, what we're getting rid of, that sort of thing. So we'll be, you know, I'll be able to go over there and sort through that, and the kids can, you know, play with the chickens, play with the cat, ride their bikes, ride their tractor and stuff like that. So it's been really nice in that aspect, but just, you know, constantly kind of having to have my mind at 2 different places during this process is definitely exhausting. So we're hoping maybe by the end of the year we'll have it all ready to go. But who knows? Honestly, with the way the world is, with the way things are to, like, you know, supplies get in, the cost of some things, it's not the best time to fix up a house. We've definitely been told that, especially like we have to have the electrical done and redone in the whole house, and they're like, the guys who I've called either won't touch it because it's just such a big job and too expensive, or the people we get a quote for are just like, this is a really bad time to be rewiring a house, and I'm like, thank you, we got to, yay for us. So anyway, it's been an adventure. It's been something crazy, but we're definitely very excited and hopeful, and just like, we're excited to get started, because even though we can't live there right now because it is such a fixer-upper and, you know, just like not quite safe right now to live in, we can still like do stuff with the property. So we're starting to kind of plan out where we want to have the garden. We're planning out where we want to kind of have, you know, we got a place for the chickens in the yard. We want to be able to, hopefully in the fall, start planting like an orchard, so a bunch of trees, fruit bushes, that sort of thing. So it's been really excited to be able to start that aspect of it, to, you know, kind of look forward to the future and just kind of envision how it'll be in another year or 2 once all the renovations are done and all this kind of very hard, painful process is over. Looking around and seeing where we're at. So it's definitely, we're excited. Okay, I am going to use, let's see, what did I say? This shade here on the inner half, and then I will use this shade on the outer half. Serenity and Wanderer. And I only have this brush when it comes to flat brushes, so let's hope it works. I'm going to use it and clean it off in between. But anyway, yeah, that's basically where we're at. We have, like I said, we have chickens already, because that was something I was like, if we're going to be here every day anyway, we'll be able to have chickens. It's not like something we have to be, if you've never kept chickens, it's not like you have to be out there constantly or check on them multiple times a day and whatnot. They're pretty low maintenance animals, so since we're going to the house 1 or 2 times a day anyway, that's perfect. And we got them a nice little coop with a little enclosed run, and we are eagerly awaiting eggs. Hasn't got any eggs yet. We got younger chickens. We didn't get, you know, ones that were already producing. But we got a couple months old, so they should be starting here soon. And then we also got another set that's here at this house with us in like a little chick brooding coop thing. It's like, you know, not really a chicken coop or anything outside. We have to keep them in because they're baby chicks. So we keep them in the garage to keep them warm and whatnot, but they're just in a little area in the garage that's all outfitted for them, and my kids are loving playing with them. They love just going out there and like pulling, you know, picking a chick to pull out, and then they'll just kind of play with them in the garage, watch them walk around, and oh, it's the cutest thing. So we got that going on, and we, like I said, the property kind of came with a cat because it was just a cat that, you know, wandered around the neighborhood or the local area, and they started feeding her because she looks super skinny, and so she always pops by for food. So when they left, they were like, you know, if you don't have to feed her, she'll wander off and find someone else to feed her, I'm sure, because apparently several people around the neighborhood feed her. But oh my goodness, my kids and a cat, they were super excited. So the first day when we went, after officially buying it and whatnot, we took the kids out to the property and she showed up and they just loved on her. And oh my goodness, she is the best cat I have ever experienced. Like, I feel like typically cats, I'm cleaning off my brush in the middle and I'm gonna go on with the green, but typically cats I feel like don't like, I mean, some cats like kids, but generally they don't love kids because they're rough. And also I feel like kids or adults, cats often don't like to be picked up and held. But this cat, like, she will come around my kids and just rub against their neck and love on them. They've tried to pick her up sometimes and, you know, she'll kind of jump out of their arms, but she'll like wait a little bit, let them hold her, and then she'll jump out and whatnot. And she's never like scratched them, hissed at them or anything. And I mean, I have a 2 going on 3-year-old boy who is just a 2-3-year-old boy who is just so rough. You know, nothing against him. He's just a rough little one trying to figure out how to be around an animal, and he'll go like try to pick her up and he just never does it right, but she'll just like jump out of his arms and kind of walk away, doesn't get mad, doesn't hurt him. And I'm just like, wow, that's a good cat. Like, I cannot believe how sweet she is and how loving she is to them. And she comes around every day when we're there. She's kind of figured out our rhythm of when we stop by to be at the house for a bit, and she'll come by and we'll feed her and play with her, and the kids just love her to death. We don't know her actual name or who like is her official owner around the neighborhood or anything like that, but my kids have named her Fiona. That is her name, so we call her our Fiona. Okay, these shimmers are really nice. They are that just easy type of shimmer. Pops on, no muss, no fuss, no like extra sparkle or anything super sparkly when it comes to the type of shimmer, but it's a very nice shimmer. I wouldn't call it a metallic, but it's a good pigmented shimmer. It's not like wet looking or anything, that's what I mean, but it is a very nice shimmer. I'm just going back over with the outer corners, or the colors I used on the outer corner to blend it in, and then I guess we can work on my lower lash line. Should I do anything different? Oops. Too much on that side. But yeah, I think that's about the update that I have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's about it. We're just doing the whole remodeling life and, you know, talking to people, learning a lot about houses, doing the whole thing. Not a whole lot of fallout at all on the lower lash line, like maybe just a hint of it. But nothing that stands out, nothing that doesn't easily sweep away, so I'm happy about that. Let's see what I want for the lower lash line. Kind of want to tie in the inner corner, because while I like the inner corner, it's definitely a pop of a different color. It doesn't stand out all that much. So I'm kind of thinking of doing a purple mixed with this shade to really make it pop. Because I feel like if I do blue, it's just going to deepen it up and kind of, I don't know if this shade, this coral, will stand out very much. I don't really know if purple's the way to go, but it's the way I'm gonna go, and I kind of want to try another color as well. I'm gonna smudge a little purple, and if I need something darker, I might just take that deepest, darkest blue if I want to deepen it up. But I don't want, I don't know, I don't really want it to look like too dark and too similar to this outer corner here. I kind of want it to be different. But yeah, that is pretty much my update. We found what we think is the one that our like forever home. It's got a nice amount of land on it that we can kind of expand into. I mean, at this current moment, it's got several acres of cleared property and most of it is forested, but I mean, we're just planning to work with the cleared portion right now for probably several years before we even need to like think about expanding back there. That's definitely will be something down the road and whatnot once we get a little bit more like established and know what we're doing when it comes to farming or, you know, gardening and homesteading and having animals and whatnot. But yeah, we're really excited. There's definitely days I'm just kind of like, why did we start this? Why did we do this to ourselves? But there are also those days where you kind of get the vision of where the piece of property can be in a couple years and where we'll be with it in a couple years. And we just get so excited, and we're starting some projects of the remodeling already. So we're kind of getting a glimpse of how the house will look like when it's all done, and that's also encouraging. So we're just, my motto these days is just hang on tight and pray a lot and trust in the Lord for the rest of it, because no idea what's coming tomorrow, where this train ride's going, but we're going somewhere. and I'm excited to see where that is. I'm really excited. We're looking forward to getting more animals too, but that's definitely something I don't want to do until we're on the piece of property, you know, fully, when we've moved in and all of the renovations are done. All right, so I'm just gonna pause here. Oh, let's do the inner corner and then I'll pause. I want to do some wings and mascara. But for my inner corner, definitely want to use this shade. This shade, it looks like, it's opal. It looks like something that would be so pretty all over the lid. And depending, it's one of those shades, depending on what you use it with, kind of will be the shade that jumps out and stands out. Oh, look at that. Make sure I'm in focus for this, but like, oof. Very intense. Wow, I gotta soften that out. That's a little too much. So let me pop this on, and then I might need a bigger brush because this is a very precise little brush. Again, remember, I am hurting on brushes right now. Let's go with this brush. It's just a little weird pointy brush, but I just need a clean brush to tap out the edges so it's not so, it's got a weird point on it. It's from Ofra. I never quite figured out how to use this brush, hence why it's always here, even though all my brushes are dirty. I think that's good. I carried it definitely a little too low, but I think it's just because I got carried away when it comes to putting on the inner corner. But wow, that is a very pretty inner corner. So at this point, I'm gonna powder and then I'm gonna put on some mascara. I'm gonna wing it out because I definitely want some wing eyeliner, and then we can wrap up this video and I can show you guys the final look. All right, so I finished up my makeup, and just so you guys know, lipstick is just Oden's Eyes Light Peach is what I put on my lips, and like I said, just put mascara and liner on. Kept it pretty quick and easy today. The lines aren't exactly going in the perfect direction, but it's fine. Here's a close-up for you guys to see how the look turned out. I had absolutely no issues with anything in this palette. The mattes blended really nicely, and the shimmers I think look really pretty. The shimmers could definitely have been a little bit sharper when it came to like the lines and the cut crease and stuff like that, but that's just because of the brush I used. It's not the right brush for such precise work that I enjoy. So ignore that aspect of it, but they blended together really well. They were easy to put down as well, and I like how all the look, you know, all the colors kind of pop together. I'm definitely excited to create more looks with this. Today I felt like I just kind of took, you know, a little bit of everything and threw it on my face, so I can't wait to see, you know, how the looks turn out when I kind of use all the greens together. I use all the blues and the purples together. Oh my goodness, that'll be so pretty, mixing and matching the blue and purple. I think that'll be such a pretty look. This blue right here also is going to be so fun. The shimmers also are really exciting to look into, and it also looks like you can get a pretty neutral look from this palette as well with these shades over here, so that's nice. Definitely a palette I have to use some more. This is a palette I definitely wish I could do a multiple looks video on, but I have this palette that I got a bunch of requests on too for multiple looks, so I just don't know. Right now it's been a little tricky and difficult to film multiple looks video because I often just don't have that time to sit and do my makeup and film it, because it just takes not a crazy amount longer, but I like to be awake before my kids are and do my makeup, and that's when I kind of record for a multiple looks video. And recently I've been like throwing on my makeup, doing a quick reel while I put my makeup on while my kids are awake, so they're in and out, and it's just a little bit crazier. Anyway, you guys didn't ask for all that information, so I'll see if I can do a multiple looks. You can let me know down below in the comments, but I'm definitely very inspired by this palette, and for this being the first time I've tried this palette or this brand at all, I am super impressed and cannot wait to continue trying it. And yeah, that's gonna do it for my first impressions on this palette. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit of a life update for me and where we're at with all the craziness that's been going on. It's still busy, still gonna be busy, but it's moving in the right direction and we're super excited. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. As always, I'm over on Instagram if you want to continue getting daily content from me. I'm Lady Katie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye pictures. Y'all know the drill by now, but I'm over there if you want to follow me on Instagram, and I also share a little bit about my life and whatnot with my kids, and as I was saying, and you know, show the animals, the chickens and whatnot. I'll do it over there. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.